If you've ever wanted to jump on a TikTok trend, well, today's video is probably going to help you out. I made a list of 5 different popular TikTok transitions that you can start using today. And the best part is you don't have to have any special equipment or editing software to do this. Everything I'm going to teach you, you can film straight into your camera on your phone, and you can also edit straight into the TikTok app, Instagram Reels, or wherever else that you can edit. So you don't have to have anything extra to do these. Starting with number 1 is also the most simplest of them all, and that is simply just covering up your camera lens. So all you're going to do is cover up the lens. That's clip number 1. Get to the next location or change clothes, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, cover it up again, pull your hand away and start talking. And then there you have your first very simple transition.
Okay, so just a really quick note, I am using my editing software for this, but you can do this inside of TikTok or Instagram. You can just see things a lot better that I'm doing here than you could if I was editing in one of the apps. So the first thing you want to do is find the very first clip and get to the point where you fully cover your camera lens. And you'll notice that mine changed red, but that's no big deal because both clips, they ended up being red. So I'm just going to go ahead and move to the point where I cover here. Just before I start to take my hand off is where I'm going to edit or cut this second clip. So then if you do this correctly, you'll see this looks pretty seamless.
Transition number 2 is this one right here. And if you noticed, all I did was just slide my hand over. But for this one, all you're going to do for the first clip, of course, is to bring your hand across to swipe away. And then for the next clip, you'll start by swiping again.
Okay, so for this transition, what you want to do is find where your hand really covers the overall frame. So I'm just going to back up here, and you can see that my hand pretty much covers the entire frame here. So all I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut my clip, get rid of the extra part, and then I'm going to go to the second clip and then also find the same thing, just where my hand fully covers the frame. You can see here there's a little bit of my t-shirt leaking through, but I think I did it again and it covers a little bit better, so I'm actually going to cut right about there. And then again, if you do this correctly, run it through, and it's a nice little transition.
So this next transition, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I've seen a lot of fashion trends where they actually lay an article of clothing on top of another piece. They're not actually wearing it, and then they simply just pull it off right in front of the camera frame. But I like to go a little bit step farther because I'm typically not talking about fashion. You can also use this for something like teleportation, but essentially what you're going to do is grab a hold of your shirt or an article of clothing and just kind of jump yourself towards the camera for the first clip. And then you're going to cut as soon as that jump happens. And then for the second clip, you're going to do basically just the opposite. You're going to be out here and pop and jump back. So when you do those cuts, what's going to happen, it's going to look like you just pop forward and backward, and suddenly you're in a new place, or again, wearing new attire.
Okay, so for the pop transition, all you want to do is find the point where you become pretty close to your lens and you're still in kind of like this motion blur state. So this is a great spot. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut right there. I'm going to get rid of the extra of that clip. And then on my second clip, I'm going to go to the point where I'm in front of the camera, still a little bit of motion blur, but starting to pull back. So I actually need to be probably right about here. We'll go ahead and cut that. We'll go ahead and see what that looks like. And it made it pretty seamless. Now you could do this a few times. I added in a little bit of a look of confusion there just to kind of help sell the edit. But one thing to think about in your first clip and your second clip is to think about your positioning. So my face is right in front of the camera. It needs to still be right in front of the camera as I jump back.
Now for the next one, we're actually going to be taking our camera and having this one handheld. So you can do this facing this way, or you can have it facing yourself. But this transition is an old film favorite, and it's called the whip pan. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to film yourself just talking, doing whatever it is you want to do, and you're going to whip pan the camera away from you. Now, what you're going to do on the next clip is the exact same thing. So you're going to start with you, whip pan, and make sure that you're in a new location or you've changed clothes.
Okay, now for the whip pan transition, here's what you need to think about. So go ahead and scroll to maybe a second or two before you actually start to do the transition itself. So we'll stop right about here. I'm going to cut off the excess of the clip if there is any. And then what we're going to do is just scroll through our clips here until it gets a lot of motion blur. So this looks really good. You can't really tell what anything is. It's just a whole bunch of motion. So we're going to go ahead and cut our clip there. Then we're going to go to the second clip and we're going to find another set of motion, but hopefully we can find the motion as we're heading back in here. It'd be even better if the colors matched a little better. So we ended the first clip with the darker colors and start the second clip with the lighter, but I think with the motion it's going to work. So let's go ahead and test it out. There we go. Yeah, it's so fast that it really gets covered up. So it actually might be more beneficial if I left just a little bit more of the starter clip here. Go ahead and pull this back and play it one more time. Yeah, I think that's pretty seamless for the whip pan.
And now for the final transition, this is an object in front of the frame. So think about it this way. Let's say you're at a really pretty park and you're filming a particular landscape and there's a tree that's kind of in front of you. Well, if you move closer to the tree, you film and kind of pan across the landscape, let the tree get in front of your frame. When you come back out the next time, you want to show a different location.
Now this last transition, again, you want to have a little bit of a frame in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut right about here. And then what I'm going to do is follow my frame until I get to a pretty even spot of texture in the door that's kind of abstract enough. It is still in motion because the motion is what's really going to help sell this effect. Second clip, of course, started with the door here, so I'm just going to go right to before it ends, maybe right here in the middle. We're going to go ahead and do a cut, and then let's see how seamless this looks. So the lighting did kind of change here, but you can't really tell as we're going across. That looked actually pretty smooth.
So I really hope these transitions help you out. If you have any questions, leave those in the comment section below. There are a ton more different types of transitions you can do. These I just thought were some of the easiest that you can get started with, so it can kind of get you an idea of what it's like to edit these. If you would like to learn more about stuff like this, let me know by leaving a like on this video or commenting in the comment section below. But again, hope this helped you out, and as always, be sure to create something new today.